All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, folks, because we have a lot of features to cover today. Welcome to our session on new features. I've just dropped in the chat our Padlet resource board for today. And what I'm going to do right now is turn it into a slideshow. So from any Padlet board, you can always click this play button to convert it automatically into a slideshow. So again, this resource board is in your chat. And let's get started. So my name is Julia. I'm the product marketing manager here at Padlet. If you've been to Padlet Sessions before, you might not recognize me. I'm usually behind the chat, behind the screen, and my colleague Zareen is running the sessions, but she is on a well-deserved vacation. So today I'll be leading the session, and my colleague Pete is in the webinar chat and the Q&A to answer all of your questions. Today on our agenda, we'll get started with some community examples and a quick opener, and then we're going to dive right into the new features. We've got a lot of new features to share, so I want to save a lot of time for those. And then at the end, I'll share some resources for you to keep learning on your own. So if you're new to Padlet, with Padlet, you can create beautiful boards and whiteboards to promote collaboration, creativity, and inquiry. And today's examples from the community are focused on Padlets that I found out in the wild. So by default, you need a link to access a Padlet, but we do have a privacy setting that allows you to make those Padlets fully public, which means you can search for them on the internet and share them on social media. So here we have a Padlet for Financial Literacy Month that our friend Nancy made. And so here we've got lots of resources. We have websites and PDFs that anyone can use to incorporate into any of their financial literacy lessons. You can also create resource boards for other tools. So in this example, Mr. Morrison created for his makerspace a Padlet of microbit ideas. So he's given an introduction in this first column and lots of resources kind of throughout. Which is really helpful and organized for finding ideas for you to use with your microbit. And finally, one that I really love, Kristen Epps made this amazing U.S. history research toolkit. So it's very robust with lots of examples that are sorted both into a general overview as well as different time periods. And all of these I found on Blue Sky. You can also always search for these just on Google or whatever your browser is, because as I mentioned, we can make Padlets public. So feel free to learn a little bit this summer and look for other resource boards that other educators have created, or feel free to make your own if you're feeling inspired and wanting to share with the community. So really quickly, before we get too far into the new features, I'm going to drop this Padlet poll into the chat. And I'm seeing some folks are already voting, but I'm curious how long you've been using Padlet. Are you new? Are you a user in the last few years? Or are you someone who's been using it for longer than perhaps I've even been working here? I've been with Padlet for about 5 years. So I would put myself into this bucket here. And if we see the results, let's see. Okay, it's a mix. It's a mix. It looks like we've got a lot of folks in the 2 to 5 year bucket, but definitely some new folks and definitely some folks who've been around for longer. Keep voting. It's fun to see these update in real time and see if we can tip the scale. Thanks for filling that out. And once more, before we get really started, I'm going to share those resources in the chat. So now we're going to get started by just trying out a Padlet. We're going to talk about formats today, but one format that I love is our map format. So I'm going to share this in the chat. It's also in that resource board. And today's prompt, if you just want to add a post about somewhere you're traveling this year, maybe you're traveling across the city or across the country. Maybe there's a restaurant down the street you want to try. But if you come to this Padlet and click the plus button, you can search for a name. I'll be going next week to Olympic National Park in Washington State. And I'm going to go ahead and use one of these image tools here to generate an image. So I'm going to type Olympic. Oh, my typing skills are not on par today. Olympic National Park. And I hope that this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and post that. You can see other pins popping up in real time, which is really fun. You can also change the color of your post to change the color of the pin. So I'm going to click these three dots and make my post green. And now my pin is green. And it looks like we've got a lot of travel kind of near Montreal, a lot of travel in the US. I'm from Indiana. I know Keith in the chat's from Indiana. So kind of everything in this area was within driving distance for my family growing up. And if you're just joining us, here's a link to that map as well if you'd like to publish. Ooh, someone's going to these fun islands. That's very exciting. Oh, Amber's also in Indianapolis. The people from the Midwest know you can drive basically anywhere here for a summer vacation. What's great about maps on Padlet too is they are able to hold all that same nice multimedia that regular Padlets do. So if you need to make an interactive map, I would encourage you to give it a try. Feel free to keep adding to this map throughout the session, but we've got a lot to get through. So I'm going to go back to our slideshow. And once more, I'm going to share today's resources in the chat. And let's get started on some new features. We do occasionally have sessions for beginners. So today I'm going to focus more on those new features versus how to use Padlet, although there are resources in the board for how to access the specific features that I'm talking about. So first I want to cover some new formats. The map format is one that's not so new, but it might be new to you. And in that vein, I've got some other formats that are probably going to be new to everyone, which is really exciting. The first exciting thing is that timeline is back. So if you're new to Padlet, you might not know that we used to have a timeline format like this. And if you've used it before, hopefully you're excited that it's coming back. Basically, the timeline is a way to add posts in a chronological line that looks nice and all in a row. A couple of years ago, we took away this line because we wanted to support multiple timelines with sections. But we realized the line is really what puts it together. So we've brought the timeline back. It's new and better than ever, and it now supports a lot of the other features on the other Padlet boards. So if I open this historical timeline, we've also added the sections to this. So you can sort this way in between sections, and you can drag and drop these really nicely and easily, or click the plus sign in between existing posts to add a new one. So we're hoping that that's more useful for you. We've also got these nice arrows so you can navigate. And not only that, but we've added now the ability to sort your posts. So this is a mock-up that I made of a student research project. And within this post, I've added a date field. So what's nice about this is that I can go to my settings, and if I have a date field, I can sort by that date. And this will allow me to automatically create a timeline instead of, manually dragging and dropping. So those are some cool features to use in tandem, a date field plus a sort by date to create an amazing timeline. So this feature is in beta now. It'll be launching to everyone hopefully this week on web and mobile. And we encourage you to check it out when it's finally live. This feature or format should be new to everyone, and it's our table format. And this format is available now. And essentially what it does is it allows you to take structured information and make an amazing multimedia spreadsheet. So I can show you what this looks like. I'm going to change the format really quickly just to a normal grid. So this is, how a Padlet might traditionally look. And we've added a lot of these kind of custom fields. So you can now collect more structured information. You could collect phone numbers and emails. You can add a single select option. And we've added a bunch of other fields like this, like that date that I was showing you before. We've also added a more specific phone number or just a number button. So there's ways to kind of validate that information. And when you have custom fields turned on, what it means is that when you turn your Padlet into a table, each of those fields becomes its own column. So this can just be a great way to have a little bit more multimedia in your post. This is like a parent contact info form that you could use, but you could also use this for students in your class. You could also use it for things like a book club, whether it's in your school's library or, I'm personally in a book club. And it still supports, comments and reactions like normal Padlets. So it can be really, robust, and a great way to visualize more structured information. And this format is available to all users now. If you want to convert an existing Padlet into one of these new formats, all you need to do is go to the settings button, and under format here, you can view all the possible options. So, columns is like our more traditional shelf option. You can click and go through, and you can always revert it back to the old version. So feel free to play around with formats on your existing Padlets. You can also go to the dashboard, and when you go to make a Padlet and you click blank board right here, you'll also have the option to select any of those formats. So I definitely encourage you to give those new formats a try. Oh, and that's a good question. I'm just going to answer this question about exporting. So when you go to share this Padlet, if you do want to download it, you can export it as an Excel or as a CSV. So once you collect that structured information, you can also export it into a different structured format. So those are also features that work well in tandem. All right. Moving on from formats, we've also got a ton of new video features. So if you're someone who is maybe using Flipgrid before, or you just want to add a little bit more interactivity to your classroom, we've added a lot of new video features this year. Things we've added include, and I'll show you now, when you go to add a video, you just click this plus button, and then you reveal all the options, and we have this video recorder right here that has, among other things, it has face filters, so I can be a robot or a cat. We've also added time limits. So if you click this limit button, you can restrict the time. Maybe you only want to deal with 30-second videos because 15 minutes is a lot of time to listen to. So you can add recording limits. You can also turn off those filters if they're a little too distracting. And then once you record the video, and we'll let this go for a little bit, another thing you can do once you've recorded the video, a new feature we've added is you can trim off the beginning and the end. So maybe, you had a few false starts or you visibly are done at the end. You can trim your video and save it just to do a little light editing in here. And finally, another new feature we've added is the ability to add subtitles. When you upload a video or an audio file to Padlet, we automatically add captions. But if you have your own SRT or VTT file, you can upload those subtitles right here. You can also download the subtitles that we generate automatically, edit them, and then re-upload them. And you can use this in boards. You can use this in sandboxes. This is available in both. And one last thing that you can add, we've also added video comments. So now when you have comments, there's this plus button, and you see here we have all these multimedia options, including video, including audio. Of course, you can still just add text if you want, but we want to make this a more engaging feedback experience for your students. And I'm seeing a question about screen recording, which is related to my next slide, which is that we've also added a brand new screen recorder. And so again, when you go to add a post and you reveal all the options, here's our screen recorder. What's great about this screen recorder is that with our new version, there's no need to add or download an extension. You can use it in any browser with no extension required. And it has all those same video features. So once you make your screen recording, you can trim it. You can also, if you add audio, add subtitles to your screen recording. And it's just a great lightweight option that doesn't require any downloads. And I've already revealed how to find these options. These are available both on sandboxes and boards. So give those a try. If you haven't made a video on Padlet in a while, it's a pretty amazing experience right now. And yeah, so if you wanted to download the transcript, let's see. I don't know if this will have captions because I didn't really talk. That's how you can turn them on, but we'll review that a little later. It's generating the captions now. All right, moving forward, forging ahead. Our next updates are about Padlet TA. So Padlet TA is a very brand new toolkit that we've recorded. that we've created rather. Um, and it's a bunch of AI powered tools designed to save you time. So when you go to this website, you'll find a bunch of quick widgets and robust tools that allow you to enter prompts to generate usable lesson plans and presentations and more. Later on, I'll share some resources about how to learn more about this new tool, but I wanted to give some quick updates of new possibilities that you can do with Padlet TA. The first is that we've added a lot of matching activity capabilities. So when you go to Padlet TA, there are many tools, and one of them is a matching activity. So this allows you to enter in a prompt and to generate a matching activity. So if I open this first one, that's an example we have, you can drag and drop these into their respective locations. And I've already this is a test really of my chemistry. But once you're done with this, if I just quickly drag and drop these, um, this is a play link for a student. They can submit it, see what's wrong and see what's right. And eventually we're hoping to add kind of more an assessment piece to this so you can track and see, you know, how many times it took a student to play through it, and who did well and who needs a little more support. So I encourage you to explore these examples or to make your own. Uh, we've also added coloring sheets. This one I'm really excited about. So with the coloring sheet, basically what you do is you enter in a prompt to create a printable PDF that students can color, which is exciting. So if you're on just the Padlet TA website, which again is at ta.padlet.com, you'll find coloring sheet here. And this is where you can enter the prompt. And we also have a bunch of examples here. So again, Padlet TA, if you're on the dashboard, you'll find it up here in the top of your dashboard, a link to TA. This tool is free for now. It's pretty new. We're wanting to test it out. We will always maintain a free version, and we encourage you to try it. You know, these tools are marked in beta because we've just released them, but I'd say they're already capable of doing quite a lot. And you can do them in any language, so you can change your language here if you're logged in, and it'll support, you know, any language that you input. And with the matching activity, once you create an activity, which I'll just do really quickly, sure, we'll do this. Once it generates, there will be a share option that will allow you to have a play link. And when you share that out, each student will work on their own personal link or activity. So I'll let that percolate in the background. But anyway, that's Padlet TA. It's free to use. You don't even have to log in to try it. I would recommend, you know, just giving it a try if you have 5 minutes later. And one final update, I just wanted to mention it. We do have a tool called Padlet Sandbox. So if you are still out there looking for a Jamboard alternative, or if you simply want a lightweight whiteboarding tool to use with your students, we have this product called Sandbox. And all it is it's a collaborative digital canvas. So it's got all of your classic tools. You can draw, you can add text. We've also added a bunch of templates here. So if you're looking for a quick way to get started, you can also look through these templates to find ideas. This is also available for free. Just like boards, you know, you're limited to 3 total Padlets at a time on the free plan. So when you go to make something, you can choose a board for that structured information, or you can use a sandbox to create more of a whiteboard. So I'd recommend checking that out if you are still looking for a whiteboarding tool. I'm going to pause there and just make sure we've answered all the questions in the chat. I wanted to make sure we got through all those amazing new features. Let's see. So generating individual links, let me go back to, so here was the matching activity that I just generated. So I just added this prompt. If you have a file or an existing resource, you can also add it for context. And once I'm pleased with this, if I didn't like it, I could either just regenerate it or I could adjust my prompt. You can preview it to see what it will look like to the student as well. And once you're satisfied, we have 2 options. One is that you can actually export it to PDF. So if you're looking to make a printable activity that you can either draw on or cut out, you can do that. Or you can copy this play link. And when you use that link, it will automatically put this into kind of a playable state. So you can drag and drop there. This particular tool is in beta, so right now it would just be more of an interactive activity. We're working on adding that assessment piece so you can track completion and attempts with your students. So for now, it's in beta, but we're hoping to add those pieces. I'm going to keep going to some feedback and resources, but feel free to keep the questions coming. We're happy to use this time to answer those. So first of all, we are looking to build out our Padlet sessions for the fall, and we'd love your feedback on what sessions you'd like to see next. So if you go to this feedback link, we'd love to know, are you looking for a particular content area to be covered, or maybe a certain grade level? Maybe you just want to dive deep into a feature. So I would really appreciate it. We would all really appreciate it if you took a moment to fill out that feedback form and let us know what sessions you want to see next. That would be most helpful for you. In the meantime, just to quickly address some frequently asked questions. So as I mentioned, you can make up to 3 Padlets for free. And then after that, we do have paid subscriptions, or you can delete them to make room for new ones. And TA right now is a free tool to use. So that is kind of outside of the Padlet sphere, and you can use that for free in an unlimited way right now. If you're looking to learn more, we do host sessions on the first and third Wednesday of every month. And if you go to this link, or I'll just drop the link in the chat to padlet.link/sessions, here you can find some of our previous recordings and also links to upcoming webinars to record for. If you speak Spanish or Portuguese, or know anyone who does, we'll be having some Spanish and Portuguese language webinars at the end of the month. But otherwise, we are filling out our schedule, so definitely fill out that feedback form. We've also got a YouTube channel that you can check out for videos. Another exciting thing, we've added recently some PD courses. So if you're looking to get certified this summer, we have 2 PD courses right now. We've kind of got this 101 course that takes about an hour. And we've also recently added an AI course. So if you're curious to learn more about Padlet TA, or just to learn about how AI can better support you in your classroom, I would definitely recommend this new course. There's some videos, there's some resources, and then there's a form at the end where you can submit an artifact of your learning to get certified. So I'd recommend those this summer. And one other amazing new thing, we've created a new thing called a changelog. The idea with the changelog is that, we launch a lot of new features all the time, and we only have so much time to do webinars and to promote those things. So we've created this board that we're going to update weekly, just so you can stay up to date with the very latest of Padlet. So, as things get released, they'll get posted here, and then we'll move on to promoting them through these webinars and on our social media. So I would recommend giving this a follow. You can follow it here, or you can just check in on occasion if you're curious to stay up to the latest. And finally, you can always contact us if you have any questions. Pete's joining us from the East Coast, and we've got folks on our support team who cover all hours of the day. So if you ever have any questions, or you just want to brainstorm, please feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to help you out with whatever you need. So again, I'm going to throw the feedback form in there. I'm going to throw our resources today, and I'll keep showing off some new stuff. But if you have any other questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. But I'm going to keep playing right now, just to show off some new things. If you are curious about subscribing, we do have, I'm just seeing this question in the chat. These are our US prices. So if you're not in the US, you should go to the subscriptions page where you are. We have an unlimited version for $100 a year. We also have school plans that are based on the number of teachers who need accounts. And students are free. So if you do have enough teachers at your school who are interested, definitely feel free to reach out, and we're happy to get started. It is kind of the time to buy things in the US. So it can be a good time to look at something like that. We can also send you your school's usage beforehand if you're curious if other people at your school are using Padlet, or if it's just you out there. So feel free to reach out if you're looking for that kind of data. Actually, let's go to TA. Um, we've added recently a few things to make your TA experience a little better. So we've added a teacher profile where you can add kind of standard things. So if you have a specific curriculum standard that you follow, or you teach certain grade levels, you can add those things here so we can give you even better suggestions at the top. Um, my suggestions are definitely focused on AI. So um, yours might be a little different. You can also see those suggestions when you go into any specific tool that'll pop up over here. Um, Carla, I'm seeing your question about seeing what students are doing on TA. Uh, oh, and here's the change log. Let's see. Padlet.link slash new features. All right. That's the link to the change log Padlet board. Um, um, I think we will be adding a functionality to monitor students as they interact. The matching activity is kind of our first more interactive TA tool. A lot of the other tools are more focused on creating content for your students, whether it's leveled text or reading passages. So it's possible that will add that functionality. If it's something that you want, definitely feel free to reach out to our support team and let them know. This tool is being updated kind of every week. So we're definitely changing it based on the feedback we're hearing. Um, in terms of a board, I'm seeing a question about enforcing what students write there. If you're talking about boards in particular, let me actually just go to my new features board. Um, one thing that's nice that you can do, hang on, let me grab my correct link. Um, is you can change what the post looks like. So this is a feature that's been around for a little bit, but if this is overwhelming for your students, you can customize what attachments are available. So how you get to this is if you start a new post, there's this button that says fields, and you can go into the attachment and you can say, you know what, I only want them to be able to record a video or upload a video from Google Drive. And now when I come out, those are the only two options that they have available. So that's a great way to provide scaffolding for students who need a little more support, for little students. And you can also make those fields required. So if you definitely want them to upload a video from Google Drive, you can require it. And now if someone tries to add a post without it, they will not be able to. Required fields must be filled. So that's a great way to try and moderate what students are posting. I'm seeing a question about interactive AI tools for English writing. That's a good question. If you have something specific in mind, let us know. I can say that for TA, we do support lots of different languages. So you can enter a prompt in any language and we'll be able to handle it. But I'm not sure what's coming for interactive tools for English writing. If you've got a good idea for us that makes sense in a Padlet, definitely drop us a line. We're curious to learn what you need. All right, well, one more time, since we're coming up on the half hour, I'm going to drop today's resources and I'm going to drop our feedback form. If you've got an idea for a webinar you'd like to see next, let us know. Otherwise, I'm going to turn the music back on and let us jam out for the rest of this half an hour. So thanks so much for joining us today.